There are three important elements to academic writing: critique, interpretation, and cohesion. We'll look at each of these in turn. First, critique. What is it? Engaging with information. It's about analysing the message, questioning it, synthesising, responding. Where does it start? With the reading and research. And it's really important you take good notes. I recommend colour coding, highlighting things that you want to use in your writing. What does it consist of? There are two elements. One, a reporting element where you describe the idea that you're researching, that you're writing about. And two, crucially, a response element where you critically engage with, you react to the research, the idea. A lot of people do the descriptive part very well, but a lot of people don't put enough time into the critical engagement part, and that's what we're focusing on here. So let's look at a layered paragraphing approach. Take 30 seconds to read through this first part. What we'll see is it's a descriptive part of the writing where we're talking about what Brent found in the study. Look at the next part. The middle section is the critique part where you can put in some of your response to what Brent found. In this case, you're using another author, Lee, and Lee makes note of a limitation to Brent's study. The third part is a solution section where you're providing another author, James, who talks about what would have made the study more illustrative. And right at the very end, we're providing some positive critique about James's study. It's pivotal, longitudinal, it's a multi-facility broad scope study. We're using positive language. What this gives us is a narrative thread through the writing. It links one part to the next part in a layered approach, which is very readable and easy to understand. What might we critique? Well, there are many things we can look at. The method, assumptions, bias, sample size is an easy one. How big or how small, how many people participated in the study. The claims that the research makes, the applicability of the findings, whether we can replicate it in other areas of other places of study. The long-term effects are unknown, or the gaps, what the study didn't look at. So identify these things as you read, make notes of them, and colour code these notes. So you could even work up some type of system where you can colour code the things that are really important to use and the things that you may not use. Let's look at another layered paragraphing approach. Take some time to read what Chuo found. Look at the middle section, read through that, and the final section. You'll see a similar thing going on to the first paragraph sample we looked at, where we have a description section. It's a natural place to start to describe what you're finding, a critique, and a solution. Now, a crucial difference between this example and the first example is that the critique this time comes from you and the solution comes from you. So you have choices here in your critique. You can write the critique through different authors, where you state what somebody else has said about the research, or you can make the comment yourself. Again, this layered approach gives us our narrative thread through the writing. So let's look at some examples of critique language. We could have limitation-based language, negative critique. We can have strengths-based, positive critique. We can look at synthesizing between different studies, looking at similarity and difference, or agreement and disagreement between authors. We can look at constructive suggestions, solutions. A really, really good resource for this is the Academic Phrase Bank with the URL on the screen. That gives you a huge bank of this type of language. We also have particular verbs we use which can suggest or really give a good message about our critical tone. If we feel neutral, or we feel that the author feels neutral about something, we use those words like argues or suggests. On the other hand, if we feel quite strongly about this, we'll be using words like stresses, proposes, urges. There's a good bank of verbs that you can use. Let's move on to interpretation. What is it? It's where you comment on the meaning or significance of something. Why do it? Well, it shows why we've made a point, why something is worth writing about, why it's important. It moves our writing, crucially, from simple description into interpretation and being critical again. When should we do it? Well, whenever we need to signal significance to the reader. Let's look at some examples. And we can see that the black part of the sentence is the descriptive part, and the blue part gives us our interpretive language. This is significant because it draws our attention to. Another example. We can see the language again, which is crucial as what this points to, what this suggests that. And what that does, if you look at it carefully, when you're using that language, it's you providing the interpretation. You're basically saying what I think this points to without saying I think. And there's that language again highlighted. There is a lot of this type of language we can use. It's vital, it illustrates, this is significant, and I really, really strongly recommend you use this language. Again, 2 reasons. It moves your writing from descriptive to interpretive, and it gives you a voice. And your academic markers want to see evidence of both of those things. Finally, cohesion. What is it? It's the quality of connection and linking between our ideas in our work. It provides flow and sequence in our writing. It helps make message clear, very crucial. How do we show cohesion? Well, it's the style of language we use, the signal markers. Let's look at some examples. We can use linkers, typically, and, which, therefore. We can also use what we call referent links. Words like this, which relates back to a point before it that the method was successful. In the second example, the it relates to the focus being on the method. So we don't have to repeat that phrase, we can use that referent link. And these are very powerful, again, because they provide that narrative thread through the text and links back to things that have been said, written about before. So let's look at some of the cohesive language we can use to show relationship and connection in our writing. We use thesis statements. They give us cohesion at the macro level, the whole paper level. We can use topic sentences, which give us cohesion in our sections, and they will usually come at the head of paragraphs. Then we use sentence-level cohesive devices, connectors, linkers like the ones there, sequences to show sequence in our work, first, second, finally, and then words like it, he, she, the researcher, the paper, referring back to things we've already established. I want you to take 30 seconds to read through this example. Have a think about how this writing reads to you. Is it cohesive? Is it linked? Is it fluent? Let's look at the same paragraph with some crucial differences. We have linkers serving as joining devices, joining the sentences together, providing that flow and giving us that relationship. You can see those linkers as a result, which show causal relationship. Therefore, causal relationship and is a linking device. We also have our importance markers, the ones that show interpretation. This is important. In light of this, this highlights that, what this points to, and what you can see, and this is the same paragraph as the one before, with the linkers and the importance markers put in, the content's the same. What this does, it gives us our narrative thread. It gives us our cohesion and our interpretation. It makes our writing much more powerful. So, 3 important elements to academic writing. Critique, we engage with and respond to the ideas. Interpretation, where we state significance, we have a voice, we go beyond description. And cohesion, we have our narrative thread, link, and flow. So, how can I get better? How can I improve? Read. You need to do a lot of reading, both academic and for pleasure. Look at models. There are plenty online. Look at these essays online for language, style, and structure. Do not copy them. They're for educative purposes only. Past papers, your tutor may give you access to these. And feedback. Listen to what is being said about your writing. For more tips and resources, search for Academic Skills UniMelb.